It's time to pick a side. The Border War is on the air with BG and Ken.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into episode 73 of The Border War. I am the Tan Man. I am joined by my co-host, BG, in the studio. However you're listening to us this week, we appreciate it. All over the globe, no telling where you are.
Sri Lanka.
The Ukraine is still...
I got in trouble.
That in the Central District of Hong Kong.
A lot of trouble in high school one time for answering Sri Lanka to a question just because I thought it was funny. Teacher kicked me out of the room. I don't even remember why I was saying it.
Yeah, I could see that.
I was a bit of a delinquent.
All right, BG, episode 73. We're going to focus in on the NFL, more specifically last week's action. We'll start off up in D.C. What are you doing?
I'm not doing anything. What is that? What's that song? What's happening? It's not starting quickly.
No one can probably hear that.
That's right. Put your hand over your heart, sir. What are you doing? Show some respect.
I'm just sitting here. I'm happy for you, honestly.
I'm not, actually.
I'm happy for you because, what was it?
Oh, I knew you were going to go there.
5-6 times in a row. I mean, you beat us like once out of every 7 times. So congratulations, man. I'm happy for you.
Did you rehearse that all week?
No.
Just off the top of your head. Just off the top of your head.
Just came to me.
I hate how you ruined my little moment. I've been planning that for 3 years.
I know you have.
I was planning to play that before we had a podcast.
I believe it.
I sat in this room in this same spot and thought, if I ever have a podcast and the Redskins ever win, I'm going to play it right here.
If I ever become friends with some Cowboys fan and we ever beat them again, I'm going to give it to him.
Yep.
No, man.
And I don't feel like, all kidding aside, it's like I texted you the other day. After I texted you a picture of Dan Bailey, that I don't. It felt. Look, did this game not end just like the game with the Panthers ended for the Redskins? I mean, like the other team is just unable to win it. It's not that the Redskins did anything. And how does the game start with mistakes by Dallas?
This is
gifted points.
This is basically the third game that we've lost the exact same way.
And the second game in a row that we have won the exact same way. And I will say this, I'll just tell you up front, the penalty that moved your field goal back 5 yards, utter crap.
That's Bush, man.
That was not.
That's Bush.
That didn't make sense to me. I went back and looked at that twice, and that doesn't get called.
Well, look, the long snapper, that's his job. That's the only job he has for like the last 15 years.
Right.
And he does this he said that he does the exact same thing every single snap. And now all of a sudden, it's a problem.
It felt a little funky. I'm not going to lie. If I wasn't a Redskins fan, I would probably say out loud it was almost like somebody wanted Washington to win that game to keep things interesting. Who knows?
Well, but if they hadn't moved the ball, everybody wants to jump on that kick would have been good from, what was it? What was it going to be, 46 or 47 or something?
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been good. It would have hooked right in. If they hadn't moved the ball, the kicker probably would have hooked it 10 yards to the left and would have made a difference.
I'll tell you this, though. If that game goes into overtime, I think the Cowboys win it.
Well,
all the momentum was on your side at that point.
Yeah.
I thought the decision to punt at the end of the game was really stupid. I also thought Jason Garrett, his play calling late in the fourth quarter seemed like he was playing for a tying field goal. And there was plenty of time left on the clock at one point. You guys were, look, let's be honest. Dak played the Redskins by himself last week. He was the entire offense. Everything that happened was Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Anybody that wants to question that kid, whatever else he is, he's a competitor. Because, like you said, the Redskins, we talked about this last week on the show. We felt like if they wanted to shut Elliott down, they would, and they did. And Cole Beasley did not have 195 yards receiving again this week. So Dak, just in the fourth quarter, it felt like he was like, okay, I got to do this because there's nothing else to do. And he was breaking off 15-yard runs right and left, and then the play calling starts to change, and you see Elliott runs twice up the middle with about 1:30 left, and it's a 1-yard gain, then a 1-yard gain, And I'm thinking, man, this cat is playing for a field goal, and it did not seem like a good decision to me.
Well, two things. First of all, I want to say that to me it felt like neither team really wanted to win the game.
That's how, and I said the same thing last week with the Panthers and the Redskins.
I don't feel like any team really, either one of them really wanted to win the game. If I'm Washington, I'm really feeling lucky.
Oh, sure.
Because Alex Smith's a veteran guy.
Yeah.
He's a veteran quarterback. There should be nothing that surprises him. And if anyone on the field should know about time,
the fact that he got knocked out of bounds on that play is just ridiculous.
The fact that he allowed himself to get out of bounds and stop that clock is absurd. But no, I totally agree with what you're saying about Jason Garrett. It's the same thing Cowboy fans have been saying for years now. It's what we said against Houston a few weeks ago. I just don't understand if they keep saying Dak Prescott's our guy, he's our guy. Why are you consistently trying to win around him? Put it in his hands.
Right.
Let him push the ball downfield a little bit.
I think there needs to be some more option football in Dallas.
Oh gosh, no. We tried.
No, but I'm saying, you've got a running quarterback and a really good running back. I'm not talking about wide out pitch triple option.
Listen, I remember, and this is blasphemous for me to even bring this name up, but I remember Quincy Carter.
Oh Lord.
I remember having Quincy Carter and Dave Campo.
4 interceptions at Williams-Brice.
Dave Campo going, we're going to run the option. I saw it work one time. One time he pitched the ball to Emmitt Smith and actually worked. And after that, nothing.
But this is a different NFL.
Well, I mean,
this is a different
I don't
NFL.
mean they were running the read option. I mean they ran the old school Nebraska
what I'm
pitch out in
talking
the
about is just sort of like a version of the run-pass option, but more of a run-run option, so that we just don't know exactly who's going to get the ball until after the ball is snapped. But anyway, that one type of play isn't going to solve the offensive problems in Dallas right now. I will say this, and we talked about this last week too. I think that the Cowboys' offensive line was a little bit overmatched in this game. The one place where I think the Redskins match up with anybody in the NFL is the defensive front.
Yeah.
And it did cause some problems.
Our offensive line is not the same offensive line today that it was last year before. It's
and
not.
We talked about this. We talked about this last year. They looked like they were kind of out of sync.
Well, now we're banged up. Travis Frederick, Zach Martin might be the best lineman, but Frederick, the center, he's the captain of the line.
Right.
He's out. I mean, it's just not the same line that we expected to have to start the year.
And you said it last week. I mean, the worst thing, if you're a Dallas fan, is to end up in the situation that Redskins fans have been in the past 3 or 4 years, and that's to just sort of do this win one, lose one, win one, lose one, end up 8-8, 9-7, 7-9, get a draft pick in the middle of the first round of the draft.
I think they said that's what we've done for going back to last year, something like the last 11 or 12 games. Is we've alternated wins and losses. So far, we've won all our home games and we've lost every road game. I mean, we are the poster child for an average.
And I would love to tell
team.
you that I felt good about this after it was over, and now that Washington's won 2 games in a row, but both of the last. And look, no, don't get me wrong, you'll take them, right? Washington is winning, but winning ugly.
Yeah.
Maybe the right way to say it is they're playing ugly, but they're winning. But I don't think you continue to be a really terrible second half team and expect anything that could happen long term in this franchise right now. I mean, this is probably a playoff team at this point. They're probably going to win the East. We'll see how they handle the Eagles. The Eagles not playing good football right now either, and the Giants are just in a different place of awful. Well,
that was my next question to you. Is the East, because we've seen Philadelphia kind of on the skids a little bit. They gave one away. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But they gave one away Sunday. They're not the same team. Obviously, you're one up on the Cowboys now, and the Giants are an utter disaster.
I think you have
the East, the Redskins, to lose.
I think you have to beat the Eagles once. I think that if they do that, then probably assuming that the Giants are able to beat either the Cowboys or the Eagles at least one time out of the 3 remaining games in that series. It's not a done deal by any stretch of the imagination. We've only played this one conference division game, just this one.
You're 4-2. I think 9. Judging by everybody in the division as a whole, would you say 9-7's probably good enough to win the division?
Yes. And have you looked at our remaining schedule?
And that's just what I pulled up.
We aren't playing another team with a winning record.
No, you still got 2 against the Giants. Tampa. Houston is coming on lately.
We're 4-2 coming out of and Houston's going to be in the. I think Houston's going to
be a problem.
They're going to be a problem.
Maybe Tennessee at the end of the year. Maybe they're still in it. At Jacksonville towards the end of the year. Don't know what they're going to be.
Then again, Jacksonville could be an absolute flaming train wreck.
They could implode by then.
Because it seems to be going
at
south.
At 4-2, if you got to figure, you got to come up with 5 more wins off the schedule.
I think they're there.
I think it's. I think it's there. I think at this point. Betting on Washington to win the East is a pretty safe bet.
Well, and we kind of talked about that going into the season. There was no reason to think they were going to, but it was sort of their turn.
Yeah,
right.
Well, we said before the year, if any one of these 4 teams won the division, would you be shocked?
And you think about the years that the Redskins have won the division in the past 6 or 7 years. None of those seasons going into it were they the hot pick at all.
No.
In fact, they haven't been really the hot pick to win that division since, about 1999? I mean, that was...
I was going to say like 1992.
Okay, well, that's really funny. Let's
January, what was it? January
the 23rd? 26th?
26th.
26th, 1992.
The Dallas Cowboys, we talked about, they made a big move this week.
They did. I was about to bring that up.
The Oakland Raiders have finally...
I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're not real crazy about this. I don't know. We haven't talked about it at all. At all.
The Cowboys go out and they make the move for Amari Cooper. They deal a first-round pick for the Oakland wide receiver that for some reason Oakland just decided they don't want anymore.
Okay, well, let's just be honest about what's happening in Oakland. Sarah Spain tweeted this out. She said, if tanking is not the word for what's going on in Oakland, then what is the word for what's going on in Oakland?
I would say this.
Never read her Twitter responses, by the way. You want to talk about somebody
people
that
are really nasty.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
She's really good. But anyway, I'm pretty sure Sarah's listening before
Why wouldn't she
heading on to the air. So, Sarah, we got you back. Not really, because we can't do anything.
I'll tell you what, before we get into the market, I'll tell you what's going on in Oakland. That's a mad scientist out there.
Well, I think he's accumulating draft picks. That's all that's happening.
They've got 3 first-round draft picks, and I heard that before they do anything with Derek Carr, assuming they do nothing with him, they're going to have like $70 million to spend.
Oh, yeah. Well, and if you look at who he signed in the offseason, who did he sign? He signed veterans to short contracts. Okay? In other words, he's fielding a team. This is literally... This is literally the 2013 Philadelphia 76ers.
Yep,
That's what we're watching.
Step 1, trust the process, Raiders fans. As far as the Cowboy fan goes, the deal for Amari Cooper, BG, I'm going to shock you here. I love the deal.
That does shock me.
I
didn't think you would hate it, but I just thought you would be sort of like, eh.
No, I love the deal. Now, the first round pick is a little, that's a high price for a guy, but
he's got first-round potential.
He's got first-round potential, and that first-round pick, let's be honest, it's going to be somewhere between...
How old is Cooper now?
24.
Okay.
Still very young. But that first-round pick, we're gonna be somewhere between 7-9 and 9-7. So that first-round pick is going to be 14. It's not like it's going to be 3. So you're not going to get a wide receiver that, with his pedigree, with his ability, at 14. It's not. It's probably not going to happen. So, no, I love the deal. I've always been an Amari Cooper fan. I don't know what happened out there. I don't know how he's fallen off. I know he's had an issue with drops. But other than that, I don't know how he's fallen out of favor in Oakland so fast.
I think, I'm just going off. I haven't done a lot of reading into what Gruden's had going on out there because I really had the theory that that's what was going to happen from the beginning. I picked them to finish last in that division because I didn't think John Gruden would try to win this year. And Cooper, even though he's 24, by the time that team gels, he's going to be 27, 28. Gruden wants the money. He wants the cap space. And maybe Amari and Derek Carr don't gel. I don't know. I do think Derek Carr is staying because I think that's why John Gruden put off coming back to the NFL for so long as he was waiting on the right quarterback. Well, that's what everybody says.
Look, if if Carr is the reason he came back, and that's the guy he's been waiting on, then where is the real Derek Carr? Because he's been pretty terrible.
He's been absent for at least 2 seasons.
Well, I think he's been a Pro Bowler 3 times, and so I don't know what's happening.
Feels like a long time ago, though.
What's happening here? From the Cowboys' perspective, I told you I love the deal, and what I love about it is that, one, it's telling me, okay, we realize this wide receiver by committee, this team full of third string wide receivers that they fielded, okay, that doesn't work. It's not working. It's not helping Dak Prescott, and so they've gone out and gotten a guy.
Well, I mean, and that's shocking.
Yeah,
because it seemed like such a great idea at the beginning of the season.
Everyone wants to pin their passing game on Cole Beasley.
Let's go back and remember that I said, when we talked about who were the key players for the Redskins and the Cowboys in the offseason, Michael Gallup was who I came up with, and I think I was still right. I mean, like, if he was having a big year, you'd be in a different spot here because there's nobody else to throw the ball to.
There's nobody to throw the ball to, and I love that more than anything, more than what Cooper could bring to the table or how he gets on the same page with Dak Prescott. What I love is that we made a move.
That you did something.
That you did something, man. And I feel this way about Jason Garrett. I told you this Sunday. I'm kind of just, I've never been a Garrett guy. I'm just ready for the Garrett thing to be over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, the next guy we get, he might be better, he might be worse. I don't know, but we just need something different in Dallas at the head coaching spot. And at wide receiver, I'm just glad we did something. We made a move. We're trying to give Dak Prescott something to throw to. So
Flipping back to Washington for a second. I mean, what is the ceiling for this particular incarnation of the Redskins over the next half a season to next season? I think it's fair to say that they have playoff potential.
Well, look, I think I think you'll win the East because the East is not very good. I think if you can get to 9 wins and be a shade over mediocre.
This doesn't feel like a team that's going to go on the road and beat anybody in the playoffs.
I don't trust this offense to go on the road and beat anybody in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think you get a home game, but at that home game, you're going to draw Green Bay or Minnesota.
It feels that way.
And
don't you think it's going to be Minnesota? Don't you just kind of feel that coming? I mean,
that would be typical Green Bay to swoop in at the end of the season.
That's true.
And make a run.
I still think losing Geis for the year was probably a bigger deal than we'll know until we see him. Hopefully, he is healthy next year.
Well, look,
Adrian Peterson has been more than a serviceable backup, but and in the first half, I liked our chances in this game because I was watching his rushing numbers get up close to 50 yards at halftime. Because like we said last week, the games where Washington has lost, Peterson has been shut down completely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all or nothing. But Alex Smith, and he did his job again. He didn't lose the game. I mean, that's really, I think, what people were tired of with Cousins was the key interception at the big moment in the game. I mean, Alex Smith is not going to throw an interception that hurts you.
At some point, you want Alex Smith to go out there and win you a game. And
he doesn't seem to have that mentality right now, but my real question is how and when does Washington's next starting quarterback arrive? It's not like I'm ready to get rid of Alex Smith. I think he'll be there next year. After that, I think you're probably starting to wonder a little bit about how long he's going to play.
Your next quarterback is probably a sophomore in college somewhere right now, and I don't know who he.
I hope that the draft process for that works out well. I mean, it's an odd situation to be in, though, right? I mean, the way. I mean, the Redskins haven't been bad since before RG3 was the starting quarterback. I mean, they've been in the mix for at least a 500 season. I mean, they've had some 7-win seasons, but they haven't had a 2, 3, 4-win season in a good number of years. It's difficult to see them getting that bad before they're going to need a quarterback from the draft.
Well, no,
that becomes very tricky.
Alex Smith is not going to let you. He's going to be good enough to keep you out of that 3-4 win.
Yeah, and so you do wonder a little bit about where that quarterback's going to come from in the draft. But that's what's great about following the NFL. And to be honest with you, it's why I'm starting. I don't prefer the games themselves to college football and the crowds and the music, but I do prefer the offseason process in the NFL greatly to recruiting.
Yeah.
Recruiting makes me sick to my stomach. I'm tired of it, and frankly, if the FBI keeps it up, the whole nation may be tired of it pretty soon. But we'll get into that next week.
Yeah. Speaking of teams that kind of go up and down, the Carolina Panthers.
I thought this game was over.
Once again, Sunday, they stage a late comeback to get back into the game. How Philadelphia blows a 17-0 fourth quarter lead.
They ran the ball 4 times in the fourth quarter.
It's just unbelievable. I expected more out of the Eagles. But
looked like a certain Super Bowl, I remember.
Oh, my goodness gracious. But, BG,
there should be no time for a team to score that. You can't let that happen.
We've seen the Panthers, look very average offensively against the Cowboys. We've seen them look great offensively. We've seen them play a game against the Giants that they should have lost. We've seen them beat the Eagles on the road when they should have lost. We've seen them go to Washington in a game that I would have picked them to win.
We did pick them to win. We both did.
Are the Carolina Panthers the NFL's biggest mystery team? Because I watch them every week, and I'm not sure from week to week.
I think you could definitely make the
what
argument.
Team is going to show up.
You can make the argument that it is that, and to some degree. Well, I wouldn't say the Redskins are a mystery team, but they are very inconsistent. The Panthers probably deserve that mantle more because they feel like a better football team than they look like.
I expect when you look at Cam Newton and you see a guy who's been a former MVP, they've been 15-1.
Yeah. And really still have those pieces,
and
minus Kelvin Benjamin, who more and more looks like a dysfunctional nightmare.
But to me, everyone just keeps trying to, everyone wants to keep trying to cram this narrative that the Panthers are somehow in this upper echelon of team. Maybe not the best team. They're not better than the Rams. They're not better than the Patriots, but they're somewhere in that upper group. And then they'll go out and lay a massive egg on Sunday afternoon. It makes you wonder, is that team going to win 6 games a year?
Right. They're still looking like a team that could win 10 or 11 games this year. But that inconsistency, though, in the playoffs, on the road, it's going to bite them. I think they have a very definite ceiling, just like I just said about the Redskins. This does not feel like a team that is built to win playoff football games because of, like you just said, the fact that they can be 2 different football teams in the same game.
Well, look, life in Carolina is going to get a lot harder. They've got the Ravens this week. They've still got a matchup in Pittsburgh. They're going to Detroit, which we've talked about how games at Detroit, you never know which Lion team you're going to get. I think they get the Saints twice in the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season. I've heard a lot of talk coming out of Charlotte on some other radio shows and podcasts. They're questioning, are they overusing Christian McCaffrey? I don't know. That's something you brought up.
We have talked about that,
to start the year.
Especially for his size.
McCaffrey, Sunday, 7 carries for 29 yards. Do I think they're overusing him? No.
That's what you do when you pay a guy, right?
Man, I would run Christian McCaffrey until his legs fell off.
Well, here's my thing. What I brought up was not whether or not they should, right? What I brought up was whether or not it was going to pay off long term, right? I question his ability to stay healthy if they continue that. But you're right. You can't call plays that way.
No,
you can't call plays that way, especially when and Devin Funchess has had a nice year. But McCaffrey's the spark plug in that offense. There's no question about that. You have to get him the football. You have to.
Yeah, they've got weapons. They've got plenty of weapons on that offense.
You're not going to win by sitting him on the bench. That's for sure.
No, and to me, like I said, 7 carries. I know you fell behind. 7 carries? No, man. I would run McCaffrey until his legs fell off. But that's just
if his legs fall off, though, you won't be able to play him anymore after that.
No, but then you just draft. He's a running back. You just draft another running back.
Just get another one. Okay.
Just get another one.
There you go.
That's what I would do. Before we wrap up this episode, full of NFL expert insight, we'll give you our NFL picks for the week. Last week, BG made a little comeback, and this week he was swatted back down to reality. The Tan Man's lead is back up to 6 games, so BG will start in the NFL. First game on the NFL slate, the New York Jets at the Chicago Bears. The Bears are minus 7.5 points.
You want me to go first?
Sure, go first.
But you said I lost. Why do I have to go first if I lost?
Well, because I'm trying to be as polite as I possibly can.
I'm just going to start picking every game you do, and that way I can't lose by more than 6 games.
I mean, if that's what you want to do. The Jets at the Bears, minus 7.5. The Bears, a tremendous effort Sunday. I don't think you could come closer to winning a football game and still lose than what they did with a Hail Mary.
They've got to quit doing that, though.
Hail Mary, and the guys tackled at the 1-yard line. With that said, 7.5 is a big number. The Jets have kind of been flailing a little bit, but I think the Bears will win, but give me the Jets and the 7.5 points.
I think 7, 6.5 I might have gone with it, but 7.5 seems a bit much. 2-score game, I'm gonna take the Jets as well.
Next up, the NFC East leading Redskins going to the Giants. Look, the Giants stink, and somehow they are only getting a single point in this one, BG.
Well, that's more about the Redskins, isn't it? I mean, it's that just Vegas saying it's time for the Redskins to play a terrible football game?
It's got to be. It's like they're trying to bait you into this.
But I'll tell you what, was there any inkling in the back of your head on Sunday on Monday night that the Giants were going to win that game? I felt like they had a shot because it just seemed about time for something. Yeah, but they really are that bad.
No, they're not good.
And I think it's the first time this year I've done it. I'm going to go with the Redskins on this one.
The Giants are due for a win, man. The Giants are due for a win. I've got a 6-game lead, so I'll roll the dice. Give me the G-Man.
Well, what you're really saying, though, and we've talked about this, that's fine if you want to do that because you're going to lose. But so the Giants' defense is going to shut Adrian Peterson down because that's the only way to beat them. Okay.
They're coming back home. They're due for a win, man. They're due for a win.
If they win, it's going to be your fault.
Then I will gladly carry that mantle around with me. The Ravens at the Panthers. We just talked about this one a minute ago. The Carolina Panthers, up, down, up, down. The Panthers are getting 2 points in this one. Another slow start here this week, and they may not be able to come back in this one. Give me the Ravens. Ravens come to Carolina and get the win.
I keep going back to the fact that the Ravens are just not a team that I think the Ravens and the Chargers are the 2 teams in the whole league that people just continue to not recognize the talent level on these teams. Yeah, the Ravens are a good football team. They win.
The Packers at the Rams. The Rams, a big, huge number. I don't know if I've ever seen Aaron Rodgers be less disrespected than this one, but the Rams are giving up 10 points to the Green Bay Packers. Are you going to give Aaron Rodgers 10 points, BG?
I think I am. I think because the Rams can score that much. They can, and their defense is way better than Green Bay's. I'm going to go with the Rams on this one.
I am not giving Aaron Rodgers 10 points. The Rams might win. If it's in Foxborough, I might pick the Packers because the Rams, it's about that time.
It was in Foxborough. I've been really confused.
Lambeau Field.
It was your turn to say something stupid on there. I've done it like 9 times.
I was going to say 9. That's being generous. If it was in Lambeau, I might would pick the Packers because it's getting into the season a little bit where it's probably about time for the Rams to drop a game. At home, I don't know if it'll be here, but I'm not giving Aaron Rodgers 10 points. Give me the Packers. And finally, Sunday night, these two played a classic in the division round last year. The Saints at the Vikings. The Vikings -1. Give me the New Orleans Saints to go up to Minnesota and get the win.
I agree with you there. Yeah, Minnesota, they've been a little flat compared to expectations this year.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that.
I wonder why.
I'm not sure. I can't put my finger on it.
So
Didn't see it coming.
So what? We disagreed on everything but the Redskins and Giants, huh?
Okay, just move on, man.
I'm just asking.
No, we didn't disagree about the Saints.
That's what I mean. The only one we disagreed on was the Redskins.
Well, that's
and Giants.
exact opposite of what you just said. You said we disagreed about everything but the Redskins.
That's fake news, man.
Go back and listen to it.
I will, and so will everyone else
Rewind
in Sri
right
Lanka.
now. Rewind it live.
The Central District of Hong Kong. Guys, that is it for episode 73. Again, we appreciate you tuning in. You can play along, and you can beat BG in the picks game too. Just hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, share our page. The picks list will be up there. Everything's there. Share the page. Make your friends listen. No matter what they say, force it on them.
Can't get it to play fast enough. Hell to the... I can't get it to go. Don't hit stop.